I just wanted to just be me. But I'd just weigh or do what everyone else was doing that I didn't always want to do. And yes, like this version now, the inside, the work I've done internally is the same as externally.
Welcome to the Phase 4 podcast, inspired by Vishen Lakhiani and Ajit Nawalkar, co-founders of EverCoach, a division of Vine Valley. In this podcast, we speak to coaches and creatives about where they were, where they are, and where they are going. This is the intersection of what we focus on expands, and your story is your superpower. My guest today is Shel Marie. She's a heart-centered leader and a light worker. She's a dancer, a motivational speaker, and a life coach. And today we're going to talk about so much. So, Shel, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I love your story, and I always kind of just begin with, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up in so many different spaces?
Yeah. So to go right back to the start, actually, although, I don't know, maybe people from my past may think that I was a similar version, inside I wasn't. So inside, I would want to speak, but I felt like I couldn't. I would want to dance straight away, but I waited. So actually the like older past version of me, I almost associate myself with like being a chameleon, because I always knew what I wanted to do, but I always went with the majority. And I kind of tried to just, I guess like what we all do, like just be, don't break social molds or norms, and just, don't be too much, and, just settle down and just wait. But there was something in me that was always like, I just wanted to just be me. But I'd just weigh or do what everyone else was doing that I didn't always want to do. And yes, like this version now, the inside, the work I've done internally is the same as externally. Whereas before, it would come across similar, but inside, it wasn't. And that's mind, heart, everything was just not aligned with the version I was showing on the outside. Whereas now, what you see is what you get, inside and outside.
Nice. And so what happened to garner that transformation? Where did that come from?
And so, like with most people's transformational stories, usually you kind of come across a time or a phase where it's not a good time in your life. And to kind of put it in a short way, I just remember almost like having a kind of out-of-body experience of like 3 things that happened in my life, and at the time 3 very important people to me, and just thinking like, what's the point anymore? I don't understand. Like my heart was just so broken and hurt, and I just was like, I don't know what to do, basically. And like particularly like the one person who like I absolutely adored, and I realized that basically this person I was almost so it was my grandma basically, and whenever something was like had gone wrong or something, I always contacted her, and I didn't realize how much I depended on her to be my cheerleader and to be the one that made me feel good about myself again, almost put me on a pedestal. And I put her on a pedestal. And then, unfortunately, at the time when she passed away, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, who can I talk to? And I just was like, well, what's the point anymore? I don't get it. And obviously, it wasn't as quick a turnaround as this. It took me actually quite a few years. But I just remember almost like having an out of body experience of like looking at myself and like just seeing kind of this crumbled mess on the floor and being like, no, 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 no. If this was my friend right now, would I let my friend be in this mess? No. And it wasn't as quick as that, but I was like, do you know what? I'm never going to let myself get to this point, and I'm never going to be unkind to this person here, because this person here is with me for the rest of my life, and I'm going to depend on this person, and I'm going to make sure she has an incredible life and she never feels like this again. And so that's when I was listening to Lisa Nichols, and she was saying about being your own best friend. And I just remember it came back to me, and I was like, yeah, like if this was my best friend now, would I say like, look at the state of you, look, you're no one, you know, all this horrible stuff. And I was like, no, I'd say I'd give the compassion, I'd give the love, I'd say, get up. And you know what? There's so much amazing things in your life. There's so much you can do. And yes, I kind of went on this real self-love journey of like, do you know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to be unkind to this person here. This body that gets me up mountains, this body that, you know, has fallen off things and hurt itself. No, I'm going to pour into this person now. And then that was the key, the magic key, because the more I poured into me, the more I radiated out this, I don't know, energy frequency, which then attracted more of what I wanted, which I didn't realize. Whereas before I'd attract it, but I'd never feel worthy of it. I'd never feel like I deserved, say, whatever entered my life. So I would sabotage it without knowing. I would pull it apart and be like, well, you know, to protect myself before something happens to me, I'm going to do it to them, you know? Right. Whereas like now it's kind of like I'm not really looking for anyone, because I'm just so focused on me and what I'm bringing into my life and what I'm doing, that naturally I'll just align with the right person instead of trying to be something that I maybe not. Instead, you align with who you are.
Right. Dr. Joe says that your thoughts are electric, and so it sends out thought energy to the world, and then it bounces along until it finds its match in the quantum field, and then the emotion is what attracts it. So the fact that you're loving yourself is going to attract that back. Similarly, though, if you're starting hating yourself, that's the emotion you're going to feel. You're going to attract it and see that everywhere in your life.
Yeah. And it wasn't that I was attracting people that hated themselves, but I was kind of attracting like the wounds in me were kind of a mirror with them. So it was kind of like we were both trying to love, but without understanding what love actually is. Whereas like now I kind of know what I would like, the values, the worthiness of what I give myself. So then if I'm not receiving that back, I'm like, no, because I know what I deserve. Whereas before I would almost like just want little scraps to get any like, oh, just, okay, I'll take that little bit. I'll take that little bit just to have something to kind of make me feel better. Whereas now I'm like, no. I don't need these scraps. Thank you.
I hear you.
I'm good.
That's awesome. You said something in there about climbing up a mountain. Can you talk about that story? Because I saw that on your Instagram. I was like, that is super inspiring.
Oh my God.
Sun comes up. Whoa, we made it.
Honestly, that was wow. So I've actually climbed up different hills and mountains and things in the past. Like I actually did one in hills because I didn't know we were going up a mountain that day, and I just got up it. But this particular one, I'd done it twice already, or different like years and things. And it was my friend's birthday, and I knew that she really, it was more for her than me. And there was 3 of us, and basically, one gentleman, he was a little bit older, so he didn't actually want to do like the whole walk to get up there. So we ended up wasting a bit of time trying to find someone to take him on a motorbike. And then my friend, she felt really poorly that morning, but it was a big birthday for her. So again, like we ended up being like this at the back, like three of us right at the back. And I always remembered like the time the sunrise came up, and I just kept thinking, we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it. And then she kind of was like, please go on, because the more you're waiting for me, it's giving me a little bit more anxiety, and I just feel bad that you're gonna miss it. And I said, yeah, but I've seen it before, I'm not bothered. She's like, no, please just go. So he's gone on a motorbike, she's with the guide, and then the guide said, just go. And I was like, okay, now I feel like, because I'm on my own, that the Shelly in me is like, well, I'm gonna get to the top, I'm gonna do it now. So I don't know how this happened. And it was almost like, say the people were going like round this bit up the mountain, I was going this way. And each time there was this woman, she had this bucket full of all these drinks. She had her flip-flops on. I was thinking, come on now. She's got a bucket full of liquids, her flip-flops on, and she's flying up the mountain. She had my hand, the other hand. She said, wow, strong girl. I said, you a strong woman, wow. We're like flying up this mountain, and then she stopped like nearer the top. Then next thing, this man came out of nowhere. I swear each time it's like an angel came. This man came out of nowhere, and he was like, trying to sell me something. I said, listen, I will buy your drinks, get me to the top, let's go. Yeah, let's go. He said, okay. And then he tried to like fob me off a bit. He went, yeah, we're at the top. I said, this is not a top, I'm getting to the top, go, keep going. And we just kept going. We're flying up this mountain. And then I just remember like I was full of so much adrenaline, and I was like, wow. And it was still dark. And then my friend was at the top, and he'd gone on the motorbike, and he said, how did you get up here? I said, I don't know.
I love it. So this story, there's so much in it. So first of all, like you broke through, and then that's expansion, right? Like
yeah,
going further than you think. You didn't think you would get there in the time. You get there, and then boom, that's like expanding. But something else is like, oh, it's so pretty. So those other two people, right? You're with them, kind of waiting on them, trying to go there, and waiting for them to help you get to the top of the hill. And then when you go by yourself, you just go by the top of the hill. Like it's an inside job. That's what I'm getting out of that.
And even I love that you mentioned that, because the big teaching I got from it was just life. That, do you know what? All three of us, we made it. We made it our own way, in our own time, and for the highest good of ourselves. So like, even though, yeah, I would have loved to stay with my friend, there would have still been a little bit in me, even though I'd done it twice already, that was like, I still had more in me, you know? And so each of us, we accomplished the mountain, and we got there, and we got to see the sunrise, and actually it waited for us, I like to think. But we all did it in our own way, and we were all proud of our own achievements, which shows in life. I always remember with the first uni I went to, I wanted to do the fast track one, and at the time I wasn't ready. And I remember this came to my mind when I got up the mountain, because they said, just think of it this way. Instead of getting the direct train, you're going to get off, and you're going to see lots of lovely places on the way, but you'll make it there still. And like the more egoic side of me then was like, no, I want the fast train. But actually, it was the best route for me. Whereas like now I know my capacity, I know what I have to offer. And I'm like, hell no, I'm going full steam ahead, and I will get up that mountain. And I just kept thinking, like hearing like the sun will wait for you. Go on, keep going. And there was a part, it was like this beautiful rock nearer the end, near to the top. And I was like, I could just sit here and meditate. And it was like, get up that mountain now.
Love it.
Yeah.
A beautiful story, right? There's so much in it. So thank you for that.
You.
And so you're a certified life coach. So can you talk about what that looks like, what your business looks like, and what it looks like to work with you?
Yeah. So with that, even though obviously I have my clients, and because of lots of traveling, a lot were more online. I actually, even though I'm blessed for that, I actually have this thing that always happens with me, because actually we're all life coaches. We all have our wisdom, we all have our knowledge. And I always find that when I'm on my travels, actually before I start my day, I always set an intention of I will be at the right place at the right time, and for the right experience, for the highest good of all. Generally, if I don't have anything planned in my day, I like to just see what comes to me, what unfolds. And my most memorable transformational experiences are actually with people that are not considered my clients, but they are, because I will always seem to bump in to somebody and just drop that little nugget, and then I'll see them, say, a week later, or I'll see them another time, and they say to me, what you told me, this changed and this happened, and I listened to what you said. And for me, I know everything is energy, and of course, like I 100% deserve to receive the financial abundance, etc., for what we put out. Of course, like energy is everything. But actually, it's in those moments of just giving without the expectation of receiving that I get the most fulfillment. And I know it always comes back to me in a different way. And particularly in Bali, there was two real significant exchanges where I just happened to speak to two different people, and I saw them again at a later point, and the way things changed in their life and happened, that's just priceless to me. So as much as, it's nice to have these clients and to have a more like structured kind of session and seeing where they're heading, of course, that's beautiful. But in those moments where someone comes to you and you have that soul to soul, and you can just say something and it can really change someone's life, that to me is priceless.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a point. I think that's what it is. Life is all about service, and there's so many different ways you can do that, right?
Yeah.
I think you talk a lot about things like belief and motivation and inspiring and just creating it, right? And so I don't know what happened back in the past, but whatever happened, right? Then you get to a point where, like, okay, you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Then you change. And what I love about what you do, we're coaches. Here's this for coaches and creatives, and you're like both. But you inspire people even so through dance, through coaching, and then through public speaking. So can you talk about either? Take it wherever you want with that.
Okay. So before we get onto that bit, the way, like, from what you just said is I always feel like growing up, I was the girl with the funny story, but actually it was funny afterwards, not at the time. So I was always the one that the bucket would fall with whatever on me, but instead of being like, oh, and have a meltdown, I would always be like, oh, that bucket fell on me, and they'd say, Shelley, only you. Or I'd walk down this and sort of trip over or something, only you, Shelley. And I didn't realize, and this is how all this came around, was that because I was constantly talking, even though it was in a funny way, and I always saw afterwards the funny side of it, I was always talking about lack, limitation, and negativity. So when I started doing the life coaching and hearing about the power of words and how we need to be conscious and present and really careful about what we're putting out, that's when I had like a real big like, oh, it makes sense now. And then I just thought, I'm going to test this theory. So whenever, say, something happened, instead of me being like, guys, you never guess what happened to me today, and then I started like thinking like, okay, I'm going to start speaking good on my life. I'm going to start speaking into existence what I want to attract, what I want to be, what I want to become. So every time, say, something would come in and it'd be like, you can't do that, you know, the monkey minds, whatever, I'd be like, shh, yeah, I can. And honestly, it was like, it'd be something like something would come to me. And even though I was saying, guys, you know, when opportunity comes, it's because it's for you. You can do it. And then it would come to me and I'd be like, stop. You can do it. Go for it. You know what? You're going to do such a great job. And just be like my own coach. Let's go, girl. Let's do this. So even with the dancing, actually, particularly for me with my dancing, this was another thing, like through most of my childhood, is it was almost like escaping sometimes the norm. I never realized I was doing this, but when I dance, it's like I'm so almost in a trance that I get so many downloads. So it's almost like a meditation for me. That I just hear the music. Like now, if there was music playing and we're trying to have a conversation, I'd be like this. Huh? I'd find it very hard to concentrate because there's something in it. It's just like it takes me off somewhere, and I just feel like I'm in this world of like just pure bliss and passion and excitement. So I started noticing that when I dance, my energy would be so high vibrational. And that's when I kind of started, particularly in Dubai, doing it was kind of like, instead of calling it life coaching or dancing, I didn't really label it. I called it feminine flow. And it was where basically I got the ladies, first of all, we released the masculine energy. Then we went into our feminine energy. And then as I noticed, like I'd read the room of them being in their highest vibration, I would start saying kind of all my life coaching affirmations and things. So while they were dancing and particularly selecting certain music, like it was at the time for women, so it'd be like, I am woman. And it'd be all this like strong, powerful words, like making sure that because they're in that high vibration that they're getting only the goodness of the lyrics. And yeah, I'd see that they'd come in kind of a bit closed and a bit low energy, and then they'd come out and they'd be just bouncing and full of energy. And I was just like, yes, girls, let's go. So yeah, that's kind of where the creative flow all comes around, because I think sometimes we can sit and we can talk about things, but actually we want to just have fun, like what children do, get into that childlike wonder and still have that experience, but in a fun, more collaborative, passionate way.
Yes. It's about getting in your body, right? I do this thing like you're talking about with running, and then the downloads come, and it's like anytime you're active in the garden, just outside, being, instead of sitting at the desk all the time. I sit at this desk too much this week. So I think it's really important that just, it doesn't matter if you're like coaching someone, just serving, like you singing that song to someone who maybe, we don't know what other people are thinking, right? They might come in like that because they're the worst day, and then you just made their whole life way better. So that's beautiful too.
Again, it goes back to the power of the words of, are you going to put a line under it, a full stop, or are you going to give it a comma? And even if maybe there are things where you think, no, I don't want to do that, you don't always know what your soul wants to do. Because I always was scared to talk, to speak, particularly public speak. And then when I did my first public speaking event, something inside of me, it was like, finally, it was the thing I feared the most, I wanted to do the most.
Wow. Here's a good one. So, but were you a teacher?
Yeah, I was a teacher for 11 years.
How did that work if you were afraid to speak?
So this is what I didn't realize, is it was in front of adults. I had this thing of like the separation from adults and children. And I guess maybe I always felt like I'd be judged. But I didn't realize I was actually always motivationally speaking to my little audience all my life. And I didn't realize I'd always be like, And actually, this is where I learned the skills of, I had this wide audience. And I tell you what, they're your toughest audience. Because if you've got you're boring or you haven't, they would go like this, go boring. And you think, what did I do? I've just read you that story and you just tell me it's boring. So I was like, right, I'm not going to get this feedback again. So I had to level up each time. So actually, they were my toughest critics.
That's awesome. And then, so you did go to My Valley University and speak on stage before for a while. What was that? Like, that's where you're saying that it came out. We're like, oh my God, this is what I want. This is the thing.
No, so I danced on the stage at My Valley, but actually in Dubai, no, I attended this other event, and it all happened. So like more than one event, but this one in particular, again, like to throw me right in the deep end. It wasn't even just like, just anyone could turn up. It was businessmen and women, like, there was models, there were like people from all over the world, like, and I was just like, but kind of like the more naive side of me didn't research into it too much, or what would happen and what would come up and who would be there. So I remember I turned up on the day and they were like, hi, yes, I'm the, I think like the vice president from South Africa or something. One of them said, and I was like, and I was just, but as soon as I had that microphone and I started speaking, it just inside me was just like, wow, this is something that actually I didn't realize I always wanted to do. Just express myself and
I started getting into like motivational speaking a lot more the last couple of years, and still I give speeches weekly, but still it's like this thing right here where I know what you're talking about. It feels amazing, but it's also scary as hell.
Yeah. So this is a little thing that I used to do with the children, because often, like, think about, say, someone I don't know, has like, they're an author or they have a story to tell and they're invited to an event. And what I noticed is that actually it's never about the person's capacity or their confidence in telling the story. Because when you, as you will know, when you pick that microphone up, you can just hear you. So now you're not only like speaking, you're hearing yourself and your voice does not sound like how it sounds normally. So imagine that. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to eliminate this problem for them when they're older, because I want them that when they stand up and they deliver themselves, I don't want this thing to be the thing that holds them back and people be like, oh, that wasn't a very good speech. Or, oh, that wasn't a very good story, because the person in that moment is actually going, like listening to themselves rather than actually just focusing on what they're delivering. So that was one thing I particularly used to focus on with the kids, like all the life skills that they needed to go ahead in life and be successful. So
yeah, it's the number one fear, right? Public speaking. Like people would rather die, get hit by a house, will public speak.
And even with me, I'd be there like with the children, like all silly on the mic, like, and then this happened, and then an adult would walk in and I'd be like, here. And I'd like literally throw it to the child and I'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like, I'd be doing all the singing, and then the TA, I'd go, yeah, go to the toilet, go do this. And then she'd walk in and I'd be like, well, like put the microphone down.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So my wife is a teacher and I see the different ages too. And it's changed a lot from when I went to school, man. We're empowering kids now. They're doing like yoga and stuff in schools.
Yeah.
Kindergarten is a while ago, but I like the idea where you just sit around in a circle and everybody's part of the community, you know?
Yeah. Definitely. It's really beautiful. And that's why because I had access to 400 children. So I like each one, when I was particularly doing the performing arts, I was like, I don't want it to change based on the age, because actually from doing early years, I realized that they really thrive in that environment. And then when they kind of then it's almost sit down at the desk or the PowerPoint, it's like, can we not set up a shop? Can we not like walk around the school and look for things? Like, and there is the element of that, but generally, that kind of play-based learning where we integrate the real world into the learning and they understand the reason behind it almost gets lost a little bit as they go up the school. Like they kind of like are taught things, but they don't really know why they're taught it. And it's not I can't speak for all classes or teachers or anything. Like there's a lot of teachers doing incredible things. But I just think sometimes the early year side of it is really important.
Right. Not just for kindergarten, like even stretch that out a bit more, right?
Yeah.
So my daughter's in grade 2 and they do a lot of that. They'll like, and it's cool now because they have the app. So like the teacher could take pictures and show you what's happening in the class.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so cool. But anyway, as we begin to wind down, if this episode resonates with you, please like, subscribe, share, follow, and reach out to Shel Marie. We're going to leave her information there. And I guess I ask everybody this. This is the Phase 4 podcast. Phase 4 in the 6-phase meditation is all about creating your future 3 years from now. Yeah. So where is Shel Marie 3 years from today?
She is on a stage with a microphone, saying her empowering, inspiring words. And you know what? Freeing people from this mental cage, because this is what keeps us back. Not anything else. We can attract. But if this talks you out of it, what's the point? So we need to create this so strong and so powerful that we can take on anything.
Amazing. Thank you. How do you do that? Where do you start?
Well, I start by taking the little steps, the little actions each day and being the manifester that I am. And instead of just sitting there waiting for opportunities to come, I need to start thinking, do you know what? I'm going to create my own. I'm going to put myself out there. And I know that my messages will go to the right people at the right time for the highest good, because I know that what I'm speaking about, what I'm saying, what I'm doing is only for the highest good of everybody. So yeah, if people don't resonate with it, then maybe it's at that point in their life where they're not ready to hear that. But for the people that need it, like even after my last podcast, one of my friends said, Shelley, I contacted him, I'm going to do it. So for me, that one little seed, now she's going for it and she's doing it. So for me, I love that. I love that through someone else sometimes taking an action, it's like a dominoes effect. So yeah, I'm going to keep going, keep speaking, and you never know, I might be on Mind Valley stage one day.
I love it. I think even in groups, right? Like Facebook groups, Telegram, whatever it is, there'll be people that just sit there and don't say anything for like 2 years. And then all of a sudden they're like, I really needed to hear that today. And it's like, so your words have such an impact that you don't even know. Like somebody's been watching and I didn't even know for 2 years. Then they're like, yeah, I really needed to hear that. So amazing. Yeah.
I
just love it, what you do. I'm going to encourage everyone, definitely go check out her Instagram. And those are motivational speeches. Someone told me one time, sometimes you make those things and the person that might need to hear it is you later on.
Do you know how many times I do that video and then I watch it and I'm like, I'm speaking to myself every time.
That's perfect.
So yeah, definitely. Yeah, that I really like that you just highlighted that. Thank you.
So before I ask my final question, I always let the guests just take it wherever they want. So if you have a message of hope, inspiration, something to sell, some new country you're going to go to, let us know whatever you want.
So again, just everything, every single thing you want to bring into your life, you can do it through the power of your words. And not only just, so for example, when I was first doing affirmations, I would say like, I'd hear, I am powerful, I am strong, I am this. But no. Connect into your heart really calm down your mind and really feel the words. So there's a difference between I am powerful and I am powerful. So really feel those words. And a trick, which again, Mind Valley told me, which is incredible because I created my own frequencies online, is when you have that negative chatter and it says, no, you're not powerful, you say, why am I so powerful? Because our mind naturally wants to problem solve and find positive solutions for questions we ask. So this is a little way round for it to say to you, you're powerful because of this. So this is a way around it, which I used to work as well around certain things where I had the negative Nancy, if you like.
Yeah. My Valley fam will know that as lofty questions.
Yes, lofty question. Definitely.
Did I just hear you say you make your own frequencies online?
So yeah, so when I was listening to someone else again, I just, even though I loved listening to it, I just felt for particularly my subconscious mind, I need to hear me. So if I was talking about love affirmations or finances, I would put on a frequency that aligned with that. So that then I had the frequency, I was at that kind of theta brainwave while also hearing my words. And obviously when I'd say the words as well, I'd meditate first, go into my heart and just say it from my heart. Some of the frequency of my voice as well and the energy would have been in the recording. So yeah.
I love it. That's like a mind movie. And yeah, I do hypnosis every night, but now I'm thinking I should record my own voice and do it.
Yes, very important. Your own voice. Yeah.
I do like the accent though. I got this Australian lady and she's like, you're the best. You're so good. Do some stuff.
Yeah.
So, my final question is, how can people reach you?
You can reach me on YouTube. You can reach me on Instagram. You can reach me anywhere you want. I'm always here, like I say, like just generally on my travels. I love meeting people, but even digitally, there's lots of multiple ways you can reach me. By email, online. Yeah, please get in touch. I love sharing my transformational journey and my WhatsApp. I do actually have a WhatsApp group as well. I have a dancing one at the moment when I was in Dubai called Feminine Flow, but I also I'll have one for speaking also.
Amazing. We'll put all those in the show notes. And Shel Marie, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah, I really had a great time. Thank you so much. And thank